So let us roll. Let me introduce myself first from my company. So my name is Tatiana. I'm a CEO manager of Refinery 89, and our agency is now it's going to be a couple of minutes of advertising. Well, we are here. We're all advertisers and publishers, and we are in the industry. So that's what's happening right now. Let me introduce our fine company. We redefine programmatic advertising. We were born in 2018, yes, and we are leaders, or we are leading industry. It's in Europe and Latin America. We work with more than 700 publishers. And last month we entered top 10 fastest growing agencies in Europe, according to Adweek, which is really great. And to redefine programmatic advertising, we created our own very best single tag solution. So it's really best in class for revenue growth and really, really easy to implement. So, whatever question or maybe are being interested, just drop us comment or an email, and we will be happy to consult you, to onboard you in whatever moment. And now, the most important part, we are going to go and talk about why we are all here, cookieless world. What is going to happen to us? How are we going to live and manage our advertising, our digital platforms, and our websites without cookies? And I pass word to Jan, to our expert, to our partner, really very best partner, consentmanager.net. And now I believe you're going to introduce yourself. Please,
Yes.
Jan, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for the warm welcome. Yeah, my name is Jan Winkler. I'm the CEO and founder of Consent Manager. Um, my background is also I'm coming from the marketing side or from the advertising side, so I'm also familiar with all these topics. That's why I'm also talking to you guys here a bit about consent manager and legal things on the one side, and bit on the, let's say, the marketing side on the other hand, how to put them both together, and then yeah, with the uh, deprecation or the removal of cookies in the future. We will look a bit into this. First thing is we will look at Consent Manager. What is Consent Manager? Very quickly, in simple words, Consent Manager is a cookie banner or a CMP, a consent solution. It's much, much more than this, but yeah, cookie banner is what everybody knows. We have about 30,000 clients worldwide. 2,500 tools integrated into our system. So basically, tools that you would have on your website, our system will recognize them, will work with them, etc. We support more than 30 languages, so that's the European languages, but also languages like Chinese or Russian. So a bit more, I don't want to say exotic, but non-European at least. Our approach is to have one holistic system, meaning one system that should or could fit all your needs, meaning all the devices that you can have, so mobile, web, app stores, TV, various different CTV solutions, etc. And in all these devices, you should also have all the technologies and all the features that we offer, meaning it should be really customizable, responsive. It should be WCAG compliant, so for the people that have problems viewing websites, for example. We support all these standards like the IAB TCF, IAB USP, GPP, consent mode, these kind of things in all of the regions. So Europe, California, Canada, and Brazil, or wherever you are. And also it will come with all these features across all these devices, that you have a full reporting, that you have a crawler that gives you insights, that you have some kind of A/B testing that will help you, etc. On the right side, you see some of our clients. Basically, clients is from the smallest to the biggest, from publishers to agencies to advertisers, brands, newspapers, everything everything that you can imagine. We have clients basically in all the in all the industries. Next slide, please. What makes us unique? We basically have three, I want to say pillars, or three main things where we try to be better than the competition. That's on the one hand the compliance, and it's our crawler and the results that we achieve for our clients. In regards to compliance, we try to be a bit more compliant than everybody else. So if our clients want to be really, have a really strict view on GDPR or e-privacy, we support you with this, or we enable or we have the features to enable you being really strictly compliant. That's especially important, for example, if you're a banking company or insurance, etc., and your compliance bar is a bit higher, then you probably want to go with this. Things like automatic blocking, full vendor details, so that you get all the details about one vendor, and then own servers that are positioned only in the EU. We don't use US cloud providers, and we are basically Schrems 2 or Schrems 3 when it's coming safe, meaning everything is in the EU and stays in the EU. Regarding the crawler, we have an integrated crawler that will find your cookies. It will also do a compliance test, meaning it goes on your website, clicks on reject, and expects, if I click on reject, and there shouldn't be marketing cookies, right? So all these things that shouldn't be there. If there is still marketing cookies or analytics, these things, then you will get an alert. The crawler will tell you what to do, what it found, etc., and how to resolve these issues. And it will do these crawls on a daily basis, and then it can also do like deep crawls and logins, crawls into logins. That's the second part. And the third part is we try to provide you with a tool so that you can achieve your full potential with your website. And that's by giving you a tool that is fully customizable. So it really looks like your website, not like our tool, but like, your CI, your logo, your things. There's a visual editor in there so that you really see how it's going to look, and you just click on the headline and you just change the things. It's super easy to really make it your own. We also give you live reporting so that you can understand from the numbers what's happening. You can filter and group, and then you see really the details, and can understand why maybe, I don't know, French users are acting different than Spanish users, for example. And then to combine the both, we have an A/B testing integrated with machine learning that will analyze your reports, your data, the performance of it, and compare the various designs, and basically see which design fits best for which customer group or which client group. And in average, we see a 50% increase of acceptance rates for clients that use A/B testing and machine learning versus clients that don't use it. So it's really, it can really make a difference in what you're having on your website. Next slide. So now about the main topic, the cookies are going away. Google or in various other browsers, but I mean Google is the main has the main market share. Announced that the cookies will be going away, and we're going to look on what's exactly happening. Next slide, please. So first, we need to understand what exactly is going away. There is different types of cookies, different types of things, and it's really important to distinguish there between the two or the three. There's first-party cookies. That's basically a cookie that is set on the same domain. On the left side, we see this browser example. We're visiting example.com, and on this website there is a shopping cart integrated and there is a video integrated. The shopping cart is example.com, right? So if I put something in my cart, then the site will set a cookie for example.com. This is a first party cookie. And the same site, there is a video that is, let's say, video.com or YouTube or whatever you want. And due to that the video is coming from a third party domain, so a domain that is not example.com, it is setting a third party cookie. And these are the ones that are going away. So cookies that come from another domain than the domain that is currently browsed. So you're browsing on example.com and you see content that is from other domains. There's also other things like local storage, session storage, IndexedDB, etc. So there's other ways on storing data. So if you want to store a card, for example, or a login data, etc., you don't need to use cookies. There's also other ways, but the rules are the same. So if you would want to store a third-party local storage item, you would have similar issues in the future. So it's really important to distinguish between first-party cookies and third-party cookies. Also, it is important to understand that third parties can also set first-party cookies. A very typical example is Google Analytics. If you have Google Analytics on your page, Analytics is a third party, right? It's not your company. It's a third party. It comes from a different domain, but it will set cookies on your own domain. So it will set a cookie example.com and not a cookie that is for Google.com. And again, these cookies will also not go away, although it is a cookie coming from a third party. So it's really just about cookies that are set on a third party domain. When will this happen? Basically tomorrow kind of situation. So Chrome is already testing. I think currently it's like 1%. 1% of the users have some kind of testing mode enabled in the Chrome browser. So basically Google is testing like, okay, does it work? How does it work? Do some websites break, etc. The next step is in Q1, they will increase it to 10% of the users. So 10% of the users will no longer have the third-party cookies. And the expectation is that by Q3 2024, 100%, so all users will have third-party cookies disabled. With the other browsers, it's a bit similar. Some are a bit quicker, some are a bit slower. But you can expect a similar or a same outcome that probably by the end of 24, third-party cookies will no longer function besides if you have like a super old browser or something. So the majority of the users, I mean, currently the majority is Chrome. So Chrome gives the tone basically. But at the end of 2024, the majority of the users will not support third-party cookies. Already now there is things like chips and fragmented technology. So already now it's hard to use third-party cookies. So the browsers don't make it easy for us. Next slide. So if the cookies go away, what does it happen or what does it mean to us? Do I still need a cookie banner? The simple answer is yes. So first of all, as said before, only the third-party cookies will go away. First-party cookies, local storage, etc., still exist and still need consent. It is really also about the type of the cookie, so what I'm using the cookie for, or the storage type. What am I using it for, and not who is setting it? Who influences the question if I need a cookie banner, but also what. So if it's a non-essential cookie, usually non-essential is marketing, non-essential is analytics, all these things. If I'm setting a non-essential cookie, then I still need consent, and therefore I need a cookie banner or a CMP. Also, there was new guidelines from the EDPB, I think last week or the week before, that basically highlighted that also the transmission of IP addresses or browser information. So basically, if we think about this example with the video, if I put the video on the page, the video does not need to set a cookie, but it will transfer my IP address to, let's say, YouTube. If it's a YouTube video, it will send my IP address and my browser information to YouTube. And the EDPB guidelines said that this might already be a transmission that falls under the e-privacy and therefore needs a legal basis. Either it's essential or it needs consent. So even for non-cookie embeds or things in my website, consent is necessary or can be necessary. Next slide, please. So cookies are going away. What does it mean? What does it mean for us as a website owner or as a brand, as a marketing company? In essence, it's good for privacy, but maybe it's bad for websites. Let's see. I've collected some examples here. So things that will definitely go away is the tracking of advertising activities across websites. So this typical thing, I go on one website, I click on a banner, I land in the shop, and in the shop, at the end there's some thank you page, and the shop will track my activity. This activity or this tracking will be much harder, especially if it's across multiple domains. The second thing is everything that has to do with profiles. A very typical thing is I go to a store, I see the red pullover, and 3 days later, all of the websites are showing me ads for red pullovers. Um, so the usual profiling and retargeting. That's again much harder or impossible to do because I'm switching the site. The cookie will no longer be there. Same can happen if you have a website that has multiple domains. Typical thing is if you have country domains. So I shop at shopping.de, and then I switch the page to shopping.com. It might be both the same company, but since it's a different domain, the cookies are not or cannot be shared, and therefore maybe my shopping cart is empty, or I cannot take my shopping cart to the other website. So shops or advertisers need to find new solutions for this. Same thing for logins, same logic. If I log into one website and then use it on another website, it can cause troubles. What still works is everything that stays on the website. So on-site tracking still works, on-site profiling still works. If I'm staying on the same website, my shopping cart will still be full, although it uses cookies. And if I'm logged in, and obviously the cookie will also store my logged in. So this will still work. Next slide, please.
Okay, here we are.
Yeah. So there is two scenarios that I just picked out from what happens and what can it mean. The one scenario is, so if we have the less tracking of marketing activities, right? So the user clicks on a cookie banner, but something does not happen on the website, on the shopping site, because these third-party cookies don't fire anymore. What can happen? What does it mean for publishers and advertisers? Some scenarios that could play out is we will see, or we can see, lower revenues from affiliate campaigns. So everything that has to do with tracking, right? So if my business model is based on tracking to gain some revenues, that will be affected. Advertisers might reduce their ad spend because they just don't have the same visibility, right? So if the advertiser knows, aha, I'm spending €1,000 on this website on advertising, and I get, I don't know, 500 conversions from it, that's a good result. But if I'm no longer tracking these things because now I don't have these third-party cookies, I as an advertiser might be inclined to, yeah, maybe I reduce my spend there and I put it somewhere else where I can track because it's a first party environment. Maybe. We might also see a switch from performance based models to more click or impression based models. So from sale to click, basically. Maybe we will also see a switch to more forecast based models. So where an advertiser is less reliant on tracking actual conversions, but more about forecasting how much increase do I see. It's a bit similar to offline models like TV or newspapers and stuff like this, where you also don't have the ability to actually track single conversions, but you see, aha, there is an uplift. I have more visitors on my website. Maybe or very likely it is connected to the TV ad that's just running, things like this. And what we'll probably also see is a higher CPM for quality site content, because advertisers will shift or will likely shift their ads on websites where they know that the content is good, because they can no longer rely on the tracking alone, right? So that's for the marketing activities. The other part is the scenario, what happens if I don't have audience data anymore? A lot of advertising currently relies on audience data, so profiles about shopping interests, or just things like gender or age. If I don't have third-party cookies anymore, these things will be, let's say, harder. um, so the questions there is are these profiles that I have, are they still usable, for example? How accurate are these profiles? Basically, if I don't see the same user again and again, how sure am I that it's really the same user or not just a user that really looks like the other user? Maybe first-party data will become more valuable. That's what we're going to look in a moment. And maybe also, or very definitely probably, also context targeting will become more and more important because I can no longer rely on the profiles. Maybe I'm looking more at the context, so the website itself. Next slide, please. So first-party data. So that's what I just said. First-party data is very, very likely to become more and more important. What websites can do or should do is basically think about where you have data and what you can do with them. Most websites already have some types of data. You have probably a newsletter registration. If you're a store, then you have some order history. You maybe have a CRM system. Online games have user logins and subscriptions, these kinds of things. Or you just had a survey in the past, and therefore you maybe know a bit about your users. All this is data that you can use. Or if you don't have the data, then it's probably very easy to create first-party data. So you can use the data that you have, you can combine them and get some new insights out of them. You can do things like context analysis. So you see what the users are doing on your website. And if they search, if let's say you're a newspaper and they're on the sports section, maybe they mail or maybe they're sport interested, right? It's a different thing if compared if they're in the home decor section or something like this. So you can already generate some data. There is things like lookalike modeling. So if you have users that where you know something, you can produce other data or data for other users based on their behavior. And what you would usually do is take a DMP. A DMP is a data management platform. They have so many features there. They will help you with this. You can basically take your data, put it into DMP, and the DMP will do the DMP magic for you to create these audiences and make them usable for you. And once you have these audiences, there is multiple ways what you can use them for. The very obvious thing is targeting. Give the data to your advertisers, or not the data itself, but the segments. So your advertisers will love to know that it's not just random users, but they will love to know, aha, is it male? Is it female? Which age category are we talking about? You don't need to know the exact age of the user. The advertiser, there's already a benefit in there if it knows it's a young person or an old person, right? Interests are interests are interesting for advertisers. So if they know what kind of interest the users have, so you create these segments in the DMP, you pass them to the advertiser. Usually you have some kind of header embedding system, you have some targeting settings in your ad manager, or in Refinery, you also have like ways that you can pass the segment information to the Refinery model, for example, or for the Refinery ad server. The second thing is content product recommendations. A very typical thing, if you have a shop, you would want to recommend similar products or products that match the interests. You can only recommend things if you have the knowledge. Random recommendations might work, but the more targeted recommendations, the better it is for your upsell. Third thing, just plain business insights. So it's always good for you to understand what are these visitors doing on your websites. Who are these visitors? You don't need to know specifically who is who are they. You just want to understand what types of visitors you have. And these types or this understanding can help you in creating new content, creating new products, emphasizing on certain products or certain content, and making your website better, and therefore maybe selling more, making it more interesting to new visitors, etc. And then also what you can do with modern DMPs, they offer you things like cross-device targeting, frequency cappings. So when you know that a user is the same, you can better target your ads on them in order to basically not show your ads too often or often enough, because usually you want to have a certain doses of ads that you want to show to users so that they become active. And when you do all of this, always remember, in most cases, you need consent. And even if you have data, you will probably need consent if you want to repurpose the use. So you can't just take the data that you have and just use them for other purposes. when you asked for data, the data has a specific purpose, and only this purpose is allowed in this moment. If you repurpose, you need to ask again. So always be sure that you have a consent manager or some cookie banner, some tool, preferably our tool, to do these things. Next slide, please. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So opportunities that will come. We talked about a bit before. So what you should consider is build quality content, right? So if advertisers will focus more on context, will focus more on quality of the website, it's now the time to start building quality content. It's no longer the time to create websites that have like, just random stuff, auto-generated stuff in there. I mean, ChatGPT and tools are making it really, really easy to create content, but Google and other search engines are also recognizing this type of content. So you really want to start creating quality content. That's not only for publishers, but also for advertisers. Even for advertisers, you want to have your store look good, your products be, appealing, the content of the page be appealing to your visitors. Um, Second thing that you should consider if you do advertising, especially if you do on-page advertising, you should consider implementing a first-party ad server. So an ad server that is on your domain that does not have these third-party cookie issues. So there's like open source ad servers like Revive, or there's ad servers that you can white label, for example, AdSpirit, where you can run them on your own domain. Therefore, better use your own data and data segments for your own targetings. Um, Third thing, you should think about context targeting, either by using the DMPs and then making it available, or by really creating context. Refinery has a tool for this. That's Contextual Plus. Did I say this right? Yeah, Contextual Plus.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
So there is a tool for that you can use, or there's other companies like HighScore that basically help you analyzing the content and creating contexts for you, basically understanding the website. So context targeting is number 3. And then the fourth thing that you should consider, that's more for the advertisers and e-commerce, implement a first-party tracking. So Google Analytics is not really the good way. It works in some ways, but it has a lot of issues. Also, browsers are starting to block these things. So there is first-party tracking solutions that can help basically bridge the gap between the click or the user visiting your website, coming to your website, and the activity, the sale, the conversion at the end, so that you can really have the full path. There's tools like SGTM, so the server-side tag management from Google that can help. There's tools like Gentis, it's a server-side tracking solution. There's other ways that you can do this. Yeah, thank you. Next slide.
Okay, and
I think
we
we're
are
done. Yeah.
running to questions section. And
Mhm.
first, using my position as a host, I don't know about you guys, I have like wow, a lot of questions. So my first one is going to be a little bit interesting because you mentioned at some point that it's now a cookieless world or advertising is a little bit like a TV thing, like this ancient thing when you couldn't track anything, you just throw that away. I know I worked in advertising that back then. So don't you think that the cookie demise it's kind of step back for us, or
Mm, Good and bad, right? So for us as let's say marketers, companies that deal with tracking and these kind of things, it will be, let's say, at least a challenge in friendly terms. For end users, it's definitely a good thing, right? So less tracking, less exposure against big companies. Um, for everybody who needs the data, it's a challenge, but it's also a challenge that is, I think, it's manageable. You also need to consider um, the main driver here is Google, and Google is $1 billion company industry that is a lot of their revenue is based on cookies or on these tools, and they wouldn't do this if there wouldn't be other ways to to have the same revenues or similar revenues. So yes, it will be challenging, but there is also ways to mitigate these things that will come. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Well, of course, Google does Google. Nobody
Yes.
will lose money there. We can rest assured about that. And to that end, like next big thing that is coming in March 2024, Google Consent Model version 2. I read about it big time last week and this week, and I read some your comments, and so please do share. Tell us what is happening.
Yeah.
Shall we already run and panic around?
Uh, a bit of panic is probably always good, but no, no, no. So a very brief intro. So consent mode is, in simple words, a way of sending these consent signals to Google. So you have the cookie banner on the page, and yeah, either you block or you don't block. For Google, blocking is, let's say, not the best way because then they don't have any visibility anymore. Plus, Google is considered a gatekeeper under DMA, and therefore they have a bit more, let's say, the bar for them is a bit higher. And one way for them to attack this issue is consent mode to so that they can say, okay, yes, we get the signal, we know that we can do some tracking, or we know that we should not do tracking.
Mhm.
For publishers or advertisers, it is not a big difference if you already have a professional CMP. So what will happen is from March on, Google will require websites that use Google tools. So let's say the Google Analytics, the Google Tag
Mhm.
Manager, the Google Ads tracking, etc. So if you use Google tools, then you're required to use the consent mode, and the consent mode should use, or you should use the consent mode with a certified Google CMP. So it's no longer your let's say self-made open source cookie banner thing.
Okay.
Um, get a professional CMP. If you already have some, most of the CMPs you just enable a setting somewhere,
Mhm.
and you're covered. Yeah.
Okay, so here comes my money for Google. Google get it all covered.
Mhm.
Okay, now another thing I mean, you mentioned as well about privacy concerns, and people are growing over years and more concerned. However, don't you think that it's a little bit maybe mountain out of the mall that we here talking about? Maybe it's not that dramatic that everybody knows that I like, I don't know, buying jeans, for example. That's okay.
Mm, yes and no. W- I think we need to distinguish between, let's say, the knowledge that companies like Facebook and Google have due to their exposure, their market, saturation. They are everywhere. They have a lot of knowledge and a very deep knowledge, and that's their advantage, right? That's why they are successful, because they have a lot of knowledge. It is not in general about a cookie. A cookie is not a bad thing per se. And
Mhm,
most, let's say, SMEs or medium-sized companies, they use cookies, but they will never have this detailed knowledge on the user. It's really just, okay, you saw the red pullover. Let's show you the red pullover. That's the only information that we know about you. The
exactly.
problem really is when it comes about these big companies that also combine the data, that your surf data, with your
Mhm.
login, with your interest, with your search input that you do in on the Google search. So it's a much bigger picture that these company get, and therefore it's, as I said, it's a bit of both. It's not really an issue, but it's also an issue. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, jeans. If you are looking for jeans, I would really love receive some recommendations sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, guys, and now it's over to you, our dear attendees. So, I have allowed microphone to everyone, so you can go unmute yourself and ask whatever you want to ask. Jan, absolutely, that's your moment. So let's see if we do have questions. Because anyway, we have our private chat ready and full of questions as well. So, guys, go ahead and please ask away. Let's see if we have.
Actually, I'm not sure if the chat is active. My end it says chat is deactivated.
Really? Oh,
Yep.
Jesus. I mean, technology.
But the FAQ is active. Ah, no, there's the chat.
Okay.
Okay,
No,
chat
the
works.
chat, the chat
Perfect.
is, it
Okay,
works.
even better.
My goodness. I think I will lose, I'm
Yeah,
going
the
to lose 10
technology today.
years
Mm.
of life today. Well, anyone is ready to step up? Anyone? Because, I mean, as I said, I have plenty of questions to ask, but maybe someone, guys, please don't be shy. There are plenty of things we want to know. I'm sure about it. So go ahead and ask.
So, oh, I'm bad with Spanish names. Joao has a question in the FAQ.
Okay, let's see. We have Miguel here. What is the question? Can you see it in the chat, Jan?
No, it's in the FAQ thing. I just read. What is the practical
Okay.
implications of browsers deprecate third-party cookies for companies who have tools like GA4 and GTM? Because Google moved from UA to G4 because of this, and GA4 is in constant update. Constant what we do is an example of this, I guess. Any concerns here? Um, so Google Analytics, GTM. So Google Analytics itself is setting first-party cookies, right? This was this example that we had at the beginning. So you have a third-party tool that is setting first-party cookies. So in this sense, it will continue with the tracking, right? So you will see the tracking across the session on the same for the same user. What will happen is in the past, Google also combined the data with other user data, so from Google's user data. That will not happen, or that will be lowered because Google will just don't know, or it will be harder for Google to understand the user. So it will be more of a website-centric view and less of a more general view. But GA4 will continue to work. GTM, the same thing. GTM doesn't even need cookies in this sense. Will also continue to work. For both things, or at least for analytics, usually you would need consent, so you would need a CMP or cookie banner, something like this. GTM is a bit of a, let's say, middle thing. Um, if you can explain that GTM is really functional and essential for the website, then GTM would also would not need consent. Otherwise, in most cases, you will have probably tracking pixels and these kind of things in GTM. And then the question is GTM really still essential? But that's up to you. That talk to your lawyers or the DPO to decide this. Yeah.
Okay, I like this thing about explaining GTM. Like, do I really need GTM? Please, 550 slides presentation. Why do you need GTM? Okay, we have Alexandra here, and there is a question. Can you see it? Okay, I will read it anyway. So, advertising by interest, by interest by display will no longer exist, or should we upload first-party data and they'll find similar audiences?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, I mean, advertising by interest is not going away. It's you can still build interest out of what the users do on your website. It's just getting more and more complicated to create interest based on the surf behavior across multiple websites, right? So I'm on sport.com, I'm on shopping.com, I'm on cars.com. You can't, or it's getting harder to link these together. If you have first-party data, that's if you already have the data, if you have service, if you have user interest, or if you have age, gender, etc., you will still be able to use this. Um, get a DMP, upload the data into the DMP, and use your audiences on your website. But as said, cross-domain things will get much more complicated. Yes. Mm.
Mhm. That's what you mentioned before, right? When you have shop D, yes, and you have your cart full, and then you go to shop.com and you have nothing.
Yeah.
Okay, it kind of hurts. You spend some time putting things together, and then you have nothing.
Yes.
I mean, wouldn't be. Why would they do? Maybe people don't understand what is happening, how they will be actually affected.
Yeah, I mean, one effect that we will probably see in the future is that if you have country-specific shops, for example, shop.de, shop.fr, shop.es, one thing that we probably will see is that these move together under the same domain, so shop.com or something like this,
Okay.
um, just because it's easier to handle these cross-domain effects. So it's easier to have shop.com/fr because it can use the same cookie. So it's probably going in this direction. Yeah.
Okay, nice, 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 nice. Thank you. Okay, guys, any other questions we have here? I
More in
think
the
there
FAQs.
was okay,
What will
maybe
happen if a website
mhm.
developed several services in out systems and incorporate them in the website via different iframes? It will stop working. So iframes, so iframes are a typical issue with a third party. So you have the website example.com, there's an iframe in there, and the iframe loads content from whatever, YouTube or any other system, doesn't matter. Um, this iframe is a third party, and the cookies and everything that will happen in this iframe is a third party context. So basically, all cookies that happen in this iframe are gone. You cannot use them. You can use them in a first party context. So within this iframe, the iframe will know that you're still there. So if you have multiple pages that you follow in the iframe, for example, but as soon as the iframe is gone, the information is gone. So things like storing user preferences from the iframe and using them later again in the same iframe, these things will not work anymore. You will need to find ways to put them in a first party context. So iframes, if you can, replace them with scripts. So the script is automatically in a first party context. Yeah.
Okay, I mean, I show this slide not just to say that we're done. We're absolutely not. We have more questions to come. It just we have our contacts there. You feel free, guys. Contact both companies, both parties, and I believe that consentmanager.net has something interesting to offer, right?
Yes, so there is a rebate, a coupon if you want to use our services. I mean, first of all, register, try for free. There's a trial period. If you like it, then there's a coupon, Refinery89 10. Just put them in the coupon thing, in the coupon box, and you get 10%. I think lifelong even, so 10% on everything. So if you want to save a bit, feel free to
Oh,
register. Yeah. Mhm.
fantastic, fantastic. So, guys, you can't miss this opportunity. Alexandra said that she's still scared, but no, don't be. Here we have a consent manager and a coupon to help you. So that's going
Yes.
to be fine. We are going to be hold your hands. We as edtech platform caring taking care about publishers and advertisers and with partnership with content manager you are going to be fine, guys. We can promise that, right, Jan?
Yes. Yes.
Totally.
Yes.
Okay, I have just like really one last question here. So we have how can a company know if they are complying with Google's consent requirement? It's pretty awful of I mean awful, sorry, awful not which maybe it is in a way pretty often question that we receive here like how do I know if I'm a good what's happening to me? So
Yeah.
what do we do about it?
So if you to find out if you support the consent mode or not is pretty simple. We have a crawler on our website. You don't need to have an account. There's a cookie crawl on our website that you can just start, and basically it will tell you, yeah, there is consent mode or there's no consent mode. So basically it will tell you what's happening on your website, but also at the end there's a box with the infos. So it's pretty easy to know if you have it or if you don't have it. Um, the simple rule is if the crawler finds Google products on your website, so Google tools like analytics, you should have the consent mode. So in best case, you should find analytics and the info that you have consent mode. There is two consent modes, so not two consent modes, but there is this, let's say, old or the simple consent mode one old thing, so to say. That's okay. That's good for now. But in the future, you will need to have this consent mode V2. And so check also that you not only have consent mode, but the right new stuff. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, and of course, recording, guys, we have your emails. That's why we were asking you to register. And of course, we will send away recording and slides and all materials we have here. You will get it in no time. Okay. Here in Spain, we have bank holidays, so maybe not right away, but really soon. And of course, it's going to be fine. Well, and Joe comments that a little bit more clarified, but not 100%. Well, again, you're welcome to contact us. Welcome to ask any questions you feel like asking, and we are here. We're here to help. Okay.
There is one more question in FAQs.
Mhm.
And the F&A, whatever. In the box, should we move from GA4 to DMP, or is it a different concepts? No, so GA4 and DMP are two different things. So so Google Analytics is for the tracking part. The DMP is for housing and making your data available. So the DMP is not tracking or not an analytics tool in the sense. There is certainly ways where it overlaps and where you can combine them. But the DMP is not a tracking thing. So if you want to analyze your users, then you have an analytics tool like GA4 or eTracker or whatever tools. If you want to use the data that you have on the website, then it's a DMP, a data management platform, where you put your data in and where this data can be combined in segments and made available to your advertisers or to your other tools that you have on the website. Yeah.
Okay, yes, thank you, thank you. That was actually my question as well, like how it crossed. Now I have it clear. I have it clear. Okay, do we have anything else in Q&A? Because I don't know why it takes forever to get to Q&A section. Jan, do you have anything there?
No, I don't see any others.
We are all good. So we have no more questions. It was really nice seeing you here, all guys. Again, please do contact us if you have any questions. Jan, Jesus, thank you so much. It was amazing, really amazing. We enjoyed all a lot and we learned a lot. I learned a lot. I learned a lot. Now I have my idea about cookies and what's going to happen it more clearer, I would say. If you say 100% clear. And I mean, as a content creator, I do care. I need to think about how I will define my content strategy for next year. So first party data can be collected, and people are really coming to read us. So thank you so much. And yes, everything will be in your mailbox really soon. Okay.